Hey y'all, it's Savannah and it's time for another episode of Savannah Says. And today on Savannah Says, it is time for another episode of monthly roundups. The month of July, I didn't really read that much. I did read 2 books this month and I'm currently in the middle of 2 other books. So what I'll do is I'll just briefly talk about the books that I read. Then I'll talk about the 2 books that I'm in the middle of. So here we go. The first book that I read in the month of July was A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. I think when I recorded the last video, I was in the middle of this book, but then I finished it 3 days later, and I just waited a long time to post that video. So I really liked it. First one was okay, and I was a little skeptical about it because it wasn't very fast at the beginning, but I really liked how this one kind of elaborated on the characters that we knew, and it made me more connected to them because in the first book I was okay, I liked most of the characters, but I wasn't 1,000% invested in their lives per se, but by this book I was, and I really enjoyed how the whole story basically takes place in the Court of Night, and I really love Rhysand. I really enjoyed how she writes her secondary characters to be basically primary because I'm invested in their lives just as much as I am the main characters. I really liked it. I gave it a 5 out of 5. I feel like maybe I do that too often, but this book was really very good. And the second book that I read in the month of July, A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. I finished the series. I didn't really like this one as much as I liked the second one. For the most part, these books were on par for me until the end. I really liked this one, and I was thinking that maybe I liked it more than I liked the second book, but then the ending, I didn't like the ending. It just seemed anticlimactic to me, and I feel like they could have done so much more with that. And there was also some characters in here that I didn't really like, and I feel like we spent a lot of time talking about them. I really didn't like Nesta. I didn't like Elaine. I just think we spent way too much time talking about those two. I didn't like the ending of this book. I still gave it a 5 out of 5 because I think that it was still really good. Could have been better. I'm not really that worried about the ending being anticlimactic because 2018 we're gonna get more books, so I'm very excited about that. I really want another book about the main plotline because I feel like it didn't end strongly enough for me that I was 1,000% pleased with it, but I gave it 5 out of 5, so it was still really good. So now we're gonna talk about the books that I'm currently in the middle of reading that I'm kind of done with, not really done with, and the first one is It. So as you can see, I have not gotten very far into this book. I am on page 90. I've not yet gotten to a point where I'm compelled, drawn into the story. I truly know that by the time it gets to a certain point in this book, when they start talking about the children, that I will be 1,000% into this. I feel like it's just taking so long, and there's so many words describing things that I don't care about that is making it very hard for me to want to push forward. I'm gonna give myself 2 months to read it. We'll see. The second book that I'm in the middle of reading is Fallen Kingdoms by Morgan Rhodes. I don't really like this book. Nothing's wrong with it to the point that I can't finish it. It's just boring. It's really boring. Billed as perfect for fans of Game of Thrones. This is literally nothing like Game of Thrones. I don't know why they compared it to that. If I read 300 pages of anything, I feel like I've invested enough of my time that I just need to finish it. It doesn't make sense to quit it at this point. Unless something super spectacular happens in the last 100 pages, I don't think I'll be picking up the next 2. Hopefully it gets not as boring near the end. And that is all that I read in the month of July. It was not that many things. I read 2 books and I'm halfway through halfway through one of them, pretending to read the other one. So hopefully the month of August brings us more time to read fun things, and I will check back in with you guys. So if you subscribe and click the bell icon, you can find out if I ever read more in the month of August. Okay?